Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today, I have a coastal Thanksgiving tablescape for you today. But first, don't forget to do all those YouTube things. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos, and a share is appreciated. Okay, guys, let's get into it. I want to make some burlap chargers for my table, so I picked up just 1 yard of burlap from Walmart. It cost $2.97, and 4 of these gold chargers, plastic chargers from the Dollar Tree. And I want to make my own burlap chargers. I think that would look really coastal, but I wanted to do it on a budget. So I just lay it on top of my burlap, and then I just drew with a Sharpie like maybe an inch or so extra around the edges so that I make sure I have enough fabric in case like it shrinks when it dries and stuff. So I'm just going to take my fabric scissors and go in there and cut out my circle of burlap. Now I wasn't sure if I should paint the charger like white first, but I think it's going to be okay. I think I got a color close enough to the burlap that even if you can see through the fibers, it's going to kind of match. So I am just kind of folding my fabric, laying it double down, just using my first circle as a template just to cut out some more. And I'm going to cut out a total of 4. We're going to do Thanksgiving early in our family because we are going to travel for Thanksgiving into a cabin in the mountains. It's going to be lovely. So we are going to do it this weekend. So I wanted to get my tablescape all ready. And I wanted to do, of course, a coastal vibe and kind of work with some of the colors that I have already been using for this Thanksgiving and my centerpiece that I made in a previous video. So here we are ready to put our charger together. I'm just going to use Mod Podge, matte Mod Podge, and I'm going to use like a foam brush, and I'm going to put on like a really thick layer of Mod Podge because I want this to like really stick and be permanent. I want to leave it like this. I think I can use these burlap chargers for like every holiday. So once I get a good coat of Mod Podge on there, I'm just going to lay my burlap circle on there, and I'm going to kind of carefully press it into the grooves of the plate and make sure that it is like fully adhered to my charger plate. And then I'm going to go in with more of that Mod Podge and do another thick coat on the top. I want this to be really secure. I don't want you to see the Mod Podge though, but I think that it will be able to dry properly. And so I'm going over all of the surfaces with another really thick coat of that Mod Podge. I want this to be durable, if like food got on it and stuff like that I would be able to clean it up and stuff like that. And I think that this Mod Podge will help seal it too and make it where I can clean it. I hope so. So I'm just going to start the drying process with my heat gun. This did take a while to dry. And so I kind of had to set it aside. From time to time, I would use my heat gun on it, but really it just needs to sit. And all of that glue does dry, and it turns out so pretty. So I'm just getting it started here. And then I kind of set it aside and work on other projects. This has been sitting for, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and it looks like that. And it's dry to the touch. It still doesn't look great, but I think it's dry enough to start trimming. And so I'm going to use my super sharp fabric scissors to just carefully cut around the edges of my charger and give me a nice edge on the side of the burlap. Now this is like real burlap, and so it does fray a little bit, but if you use sharp enough scissors, you can get a really smooth cut around the edges. My scissors were so sharp, I was trying not to cut the actual plastic charger. So that's what it looks like at that point. And you can see I didn't get like a perfect cut some areas. So I just go around and trim up any little loose pieces that are sticking out of my charger. And then I do this on all 4 of my chargers for my plate. And again, if you do this, I know you can see the glue now, but it does dry. The heat gun didn't really speed it up as much as I would think it would, but just time. Okay, my next DIY for our Thanksgiving tablescape is going to be napkin rings. So I'm just going to use some of these super cheap plastic shower rings from the Dollar Tree and some of the rope from the Dollar Tree. I want it to look nautical, and I'm using the brown rope, but I'm using it like in the smaller size. I'm going to make sure all of my little shower rings are closed. And I end up using 4 shower rings and 2 packages of this rope from the Dollar Tree. If you cut this length of rope into half, it was a perfect amount of rope to do one napkin ring. What I'm going to do is do a macrame tie knot on my napkin ring, kind of reminiscent of my centerpiece that I made for this, but I used the Donicle rope for that. So I wanted to use a different kind of rope for my napkin ring. So I just tied a knot right there on that joint of the shower ring. And then I'm going to do my macrame knot all the way around, and it's going to give me this beautiful pattern. I'm using the plastic shower ring as the middle rope in my macrame, and I am doing that same knot that I did on my pumpkin centerpiece. If you haven't seen that video, you'll have to go back and watch it. I will post a link in the comments below. It turned out great. I used 2 of those pumpkin wreath forms from the Dollar Tree and nautical rope and made a wonderful centerpiece for Thanksgiving. So I am just doing that same knot and working my way all the way around my little napkin ring. And I will zoom in here in just a minute and kind of show you that knot a little bit closer. I was worried I wasn't going to have enough rope, but I got to the end and it was like a perfect amount. I just keep tying until I can't tie anymore, and I'll have 2 like little loose strands here at the end. So I think I can get 1 more in there. And these turned out super cute. I really like them. I was really going back and forth with what I was going to do with these, but I like how they turned out. So I already got 2 of them done there. And I'm going to give you a close-up here so you can see that knot. So I'm just going to tie a simple knot, and then I go over, I make an L with the one on the left. I go over it with the one on the right, and then I go through the hole there on the left. That is my knot. And I just repeat that same knot all the way around my little napkin rings. I thought about doing like a sailor knot or something like that, but I'm kind of glad I did this. It kind of coordinates with my centerpiece. So at the end, I have the 2 little pieces of rope left after I get all 4 of my napkin rings tied. And I'm just going to use hot glue to kind of glue that and wrap that around, kind of make the last 2 pieces kind of look like knots as well. And that side of my napkin ring didn't turn out quite as well as the rest of it, but that's okay. That will just be the bottom of my napkin ring. And I love making napkin rings. I think they're so much fun. I'm going to use cloth napkins because it's Thanksgiving. We're going to be fancy like that. And I think these will be perfect. That's what they look like when they're all done. And then I'm just going over all 4 of them with a lighter once I get them all completed and burn off any excess fibers and kind of clean them up a little bit. And I love these. I think they turned out really pretty. This is what they look like all together. So cute. Okay, these are the napkins. I ordered these on Amazon because I really wanted like an aqua blue fabric napkin. I couldn't find any anywhere. So these will be great for many occasions, and I think I got 12 in there. I'll post a link below for these napkins. They're really a pretty color of blue, and I want to do all different colors of blue to bring in the ocean to my project. Now they're super wrinkly. I did think about ironing them, and then I was like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. So I am just going to fold it over like that into a triangle, upside down triangle. Then I'm just going to pinch it at the top and do a very simple fold because I just kind of want these to be skinny, and wrap my napkin ring around it, pull it down a little bit, and that is ready to go. I want it to be kind of a skinny fold because I'm not going to be able to put it on my plates the way that I'm going to set my plates up. And so that is how they look when I do all 4. Now, there's only 3 people in my family, but I tried to start doing this for 3, and it looked so unsymmetrical that I had to go back and add an extra place setting to make 4. So I'm going to make little place cards for my table, I'm going to use some of these little wood tags. I picked these up at Dollar General, and they're just simple raw wood tags. And I am just going in and staining them all with some antique wax by Waverly, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to stain both sides. Now, you'll see my pen there. I have a wood burning pen. I got that on Amazon, and I am going to try to do like a wood burned driftwood look is what I'm going to try to go for. And so my first step, of course, is staining all the wood. Now, the problem with staining it all on this really raw wood with that antique wax is it turned out a little darker than I like, but I'm trying to wipe off any of the excess. And to counteract that, I'm going to go in with some chalk paint. I think this is a color cashew. And I'm just going to distress it on this top side with that cashew and try to give me more of a driftwood vibe. So I'm kind of working all in one direction using a chunky brush that was losing lots of bristles. Sometimes those things are great from the Dollar Tree and sometimes they're terrible. And then just wiping off the excess paint to try to give me a light color of wood, more reminiscent of a driftwood. Something that you'll be able to see this wood burning pen on. So basically it's just a pen if you haven't used one of these before, and you can just kind of see it turns out like yellow ink. And so I'm just going to use cursive and write all of our names on our little place cards. And then what you do is you go in and you use a heat gun to wood burn, give the look of wood burn in your wood. Now, it took a little bit longer than normal for me to get these dark, maybe because I used the paint too and it wasn't just wood. But I just work really close with my heat gun, and I got that on Amazon as well. I can post a link below to that. But you definitely need a heat source to get that dark. Now, I wasn't real happy with it, so I'm going back in and distressing with like a chippy brush with some more antique wax by Waverly to kind of blend it in all together and kind of give me more of a finished look. And I think this looks way better. And so they were a success. We have our 4 little tags. I'm just heating it with my heat gun again to see if I can get it a little bit darker. It did work a little bit, and I think they turned out really cute. And I am just going to use these with a little bit of twine and tie these on as little place cards. So I just have some extra twine that's cut to size, and I am just going to string those up. And I'll just tie those in a simple knot, and you'll see in just a second what I'm going to tie those to. Okay, it's time to put our place setting together. I kind of wanted to practice. So I have my dry burlap charger. I'm just going to use my regular white Rae Dunn plates. You won't be able to see them anyway, and I don't like to have seasonal plates because I don't have a lot of storage. So the blue plate I got at Dollar Tree. They are little tiny salad plates. And then I'm just going to put a white pumpkin from the mini pumpkin from the grocery store on top of each one. And that is what we're going to tie our little driftwood name tags to. So I just kind of tie it to see how long I need it and then trim off the excess. And I think this looks really good. I really like that touch of blue. And for $1 a plate, I'm willing to invest that on there. And then I'm just going to use a starfish on each one to give it a little bit more of a coastal vibe. I get those starfish on Amazon because I am out of the ones that I got at Dollar Tree. And they're really cute. So here's my other 3 pumpkins. I'm just going to go ahead and tie my little place cards to each one. And I think that looks so cute for Thanksgiving on top of all of my little place settings. Now it's time to put this thing together. I got this great burlap runner for Thanksgiving on Amazon. You could probably make it yourself, but it was pretty inexpensive. I think it was probably as cheap as making it, and I was having trouble finding burlap runners at my local stores. And here is our burlap charger. It turned out great, and they're all dry now. And my white plate, you can use whatever you've got. And then I'm going to use my little blue salad plate that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. It kind of has a brown edge. It's really pretty. And then my little pumpkin with my little place card on it for the top. And then my little starfish on the side of that. And then I'm just going to do that for all 4 of my place settings. And also silverware, I'm going to go ahead and set just a informal setting for our silverware. And I'm also going to do kind of my napkin, but kind of off to the side like that. So I went ahead and set all 4 place settings. That's what it looks like. Now I'm going to use some of this lamb's ear garland. I picked this up at Walmart actually. And it's beautiful. I really wanted this color of plant. And I kind of wanted that fuzzy texture. And I think this is going to be perfect for my tablescape. So I'm just going to kind of lay that down. I'm going to cut off the ends. They kind of had little circles on it to hang it. Then I also cut it in half so that I can work my centerpiece into the middle of my table. And this is the thankful pumpkin that we made in a previous video. And I will link that video below. That we made out of Dollar Tree supplies and put a couple pumpkins in the middle, and I think that looks really good. And I got these little candle holders from the Dollar Tree. They're a little different, but they're kind of the same color, and they'll go with my blue colors. I'm trying to tie in all my colors of the ocean. I'm going to do 1 on each side, and then I'm also going to use Dollar Tree candles, these little vanilla candles on each one, so we can light those. I picked up a couple of these aqua candles from the Dollar Tree. These are the ones with the little string around it. I just took the string off. And then 2 of these little Target Dollar Spot mint green pumpkins that I got for $1 at Target. And I'm going to do 1 of those on each side. And I'm just going to start building. I already had some coral just from other decor that I have taken down right now. And so I'm going to work it a piece of coral on each side to bring in that coastal element. And they're both beautiful colors of blue. I got some seashells from the Dollar Tree. These are the white ones. And I'm just going to kind of scatter those in our tablescape just to give me a little bit more of a coastal feel. I do about 4 or 5 on each side. And then I'm going to use some more of those starfish that I got on Amazon and just put a couple of those here and there throughout my tablescape just to add more coastal vibe. Kind of the more you add to it, like the better it gets. And so that's what we're going to do. And I thought more rope would be fun. That would be a nice coastal touch. So I took another one of those nautical ropes that I used to make that centerpiece, and I cut 1 in half. And I'm just going to kind of snake around all of my items with that, kind of the opposite direction that I did with the lamb's ear, and just kind of have another little texture and touch and little coastal element to my tablescape. And then I just went and picked up some more like seashells that I had from my stash, like real seashells in different colors. And I'm just going to scatter those around as well, just to give me a little finishing touch to my tablescape. And here is the final reveal of our Thanksgiving tablescape with a coastal Thanksgiving feel. I really love how it turned out. I love my little Burlap Chargers that we made, and I think they look great with that little Dollar Tree turquoise salad plate on top. And I love the idea of pumpkins on top with the place cards. I think that looks so cute. And this is how it all looks together. So you can kind of see there's my table setting, and then the way the napkin is with our napkin ring that we made. And then the tablescape behind it where it's lots of candles. We have coral. We have seashells. We have starfish. We have rope. I love the lamb's ear. I think that looks really good. We have little pumpkins. This is the centerpiece that we made with Dollar Tree supplies. It says thankful at the bottom with the little burlap leaves. And kind of a repeat of the other side on this side. Some things are different. The candlesticks are different, but the same color, and so is the coral. But that kind of just adds more interest to it. And this is what it looks like from above. I think it turned out really good. I'm really excited about celebrating Thanksgiving, and I hope you liked my ideas for my Thanksgiving tablescape. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to hit subscribe to see all of my Crafty Beach videos. Until next time, everybody, bye!